Hello everyone, I'm Ginny. Today we'll be taking a look at a very well-known archetype, and I'm talking about Corina Control, which is a funny name since this deck has always been more about Ledros than Corina, but oh well. This deck has many quote-unquote versions. If you search on the internet, you will see that some people like to run Atrocity and some other decks don't. In my opinion, it's a must to have at least one, because those last portions of HP can be quite difficult to remove, which is why Atrocity is so good. It helps you to close out a little bit easier, let's say. The main difference from current Corina decks and the old ones is the presence of Vi, which is, in my opinion, one more reason to run Atrocity, since she can get pretty big, if I dare to say so myself, and she has been added to help control mid-range decks a little bit better, because with the addition of those 4/4 bears from Demacia, being able to control mid-range matchups has been quite troublesome for this deck. Because the only way you have to remove those units with one card only is using Thermogenic Beam, and you can only have 3 of those in your deck, and may be complicated to pull off using without, wasting more mana than you should. That's why Vi is so important. The strategy with this deck is quite intuitive. You want to stall the game since all your win conditions are very expensive, because even though winning with Elise is a possibility, she's more of a blocking and pressure tool than being a win condition. This deck, like any other Shadow Isles deck, has a lot of advantages against aggro decks. But if you have to mulligan for health gaining removal. If you do not, you will be probably burned fast like any other deck. And even though you still have a good chance of winning, a very good chance of winning the game, if you don't manage to get your health back, games will be very close, believe me. Against aggro attacks, Frenzied Skitter is a very important card, since removing -1 attack from the enemy is very important against Burn Draven, for example, because they need the exact amount of damage. They usually don't do surplus damage to kill you, they do an exact amount. So if you remove 1 damage, maybe it's the exact 1 damage that will be missing at the end. So that's a good thing to know. If you get Frenzied Skitter on your opening hand, maybe it's a good idea not to trade it, not to mulligan it. Now, against slow decks, you have mainly 2 options. You can choose to drag the game out by blocking with your spiders, which is what you want to do against Lux, for example, since your spiders will only be useful until Lux levels up. Then they will become a liability to you, because it will allow her to deal you damage, so you want to flood the board with spiders as early as possible and get value from them as early as possible. In this matchup, I believe no one has an advantage. It usually gets pretty tight at the end. Or you have your second option, which is when you're playing against Israel, for example. In this case, you shouldn't be dropping any units, to be honest. For doing so, you will only help him level up, and in this matchup, you want to control the board as much as possible and focus on using resources to make Israel not level up. Because once he does, it's very hard to come back from that. You can only come back from that from a leveled up Israel if you stay healthy and remove his karma, but it's easier said than done. So if your opponent starts passing the turns, you should let the pass go, because it's gonna be good for you. If Israel is not leveled up, this matchup shouldn't be a threat. This is a very competitive deck, and you will have a very good chance of winning if you play it right. But it's not an unbeatable archetype as it once were, since it has competitions for the spot, and Bannerman decks are currently insane. So that's gonna do it for this video, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment with your thoughts. So thank you for watching, and see ya!